What we did at the first workshop or the second workshop, which was just kind of gaining information about some circularity possibilities, just kind of learning what circularity is and learning what it means to the community, as in just maybe deconstruction versus demolition, like the systematic taking apart of buildings rather than just kind of throwing everything into a landfill, to help boost the economy and also community engagement, involvement. It's personal, it's community-based, it's real interviews with community members, high school students that live and breathe and see Binghamton every single day. So it comes from a real first-person perspective.
I think the Masonic Temple represents the fact that the amount of beauty within the decay of the city, essentially. I feel like Binghamton, when you go down, especially if you go to Binghamton's downtown, there's such beauty within our environment, regardless of whether you're even just going to a cafe or you're looking at actual housing. But at the same time, as you're downtown, you can also see a contrast with homeless people who are just wandering and no one's essentially helping them. Housing that's decaying, which is housing actual residents rather than college students. The temple, with how beautiful it is, if you just look at it, like Greek columns, etc., but there's graffiti on it and it's just been decaying for years. There's so much lost potential or untapped into potential within our city, and how if there's just funding put in, if there's investment put in, our city, Binghamton, can be one of the most beautiful in the country.
The Binghamton area, in that there's like rich history and culture that could be like kind of shared, but it's not being used very well. And I guess that kind of supports the argument that maybe like we should be preserving these buildings as opposed to letting them kind of like deteriorate.
Idea that we've had for this building, considering that just down the street, if you go that way, there's Binghamton High School, which is of course our city's high school. I think with the high school, as a student there, I can personally see the consequences that come from the negative connotations that our building has. There's a lot of decay in our area. With the Masonic Temple, the best thing that it could become is a recreation center. It would be a way of preserving this building and giving it use. And second of all, it could help our community. So the fact that this could go towards students here, I feel that would be an amazing use. And it would help motivate our students to think, I have so much potential, my city has so much potential. And I feel like that really fosters the spirit needed to help grow our building or grow our city and grow the residents that live here.
Maybe it could be like some sort of like place for people who don't have homes.
Recreational centers where you can come with your family, and I feel like that'll be a good thing to kind of promote like health and like a better lifestyle in Binghamton.
That high school are the next generation and they're coming from our city. So we should want our students to reflect to the world, hey, I come from Binghamton and look at what my potential is. And I feel like that should really be our priority.
If we were able to like reuse some of these, like the Masonic Temple, reuse it and repurpose it, it would show like how the neighborhood will start to look more better, and not like none of the students will just try and hang around here. Like the house right across from Binghamton High School, a lot of students just use it as like an area to chill, but if we could repurpose it, maybe they could actually be in a functioning area.
What are the current usage you see for this red building over here?
Before the fence was put up, I saw the usage of students smoking over there and just using it as like an area to hang out. Or sometimes I did see fights over there, but ever since they put up the fence, nobody has really bothered the building, and it's just been like sitting there for as long as I could remember.
I think we can definitely use like deconstruction of the building to reuse the columns or the wood or like the windows. Not all of them are smashed. And I think, we could use it for like renovating, the sort of housing in the area. Eventually it's going to need to have some like renovation, so you can like use the windows for that. Or like you could use like the columns, even if you wanted to do some type of like memorial or something of the area, or if there was a museum.
And I know that there is like many programs at BOCES that they could reuse this material for, and it could help benefit them for the class and their understanding with deconstruction.
I think it would definitely be a good use of like vacant lots and like just areas that aren't being used in Binghamton as like gardens or just places for community to come together and kind of celebrate culture, kind of promote like diversity in Binghamton.
The first thing that we could do is, of course, considering how we can make those buildings effectively used by the community, not just necessarily in a way that they're made into, I guess, housing per se, even though of course if it's housing that's going towards residents, that works just as well because it's serving our community. But I think if we could turn them into community centers, or at least one of them into a community center, especially the Red Building, which is right across from Binghamton High School, that would be a huge step towards making it so that Binghamton is serving people who live in Binghamton, permanent residents whose lives are in Binghamton. Same thing goes for the Masonic Temple. If one of them becomes a recreation center, maybe the other could have another purpose, but regardless, making sure that those buildings are going towards Binghamton residents, people who live here, whose lives are here.
One of CURTA-Y's values are sustainability and circularity. They are at the heart of everything. We are passionate about finding ways to reduce waste, reuse resources, and make a real difference for the environment. But we know that meaningful change doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in collaboration. That is why we felt it was so important to connect with our elected officials. Elected officials play a crucial role not only in shaping policies, but driving change on a larger scale. By reaching out, we shared our perspective, gained valuable insights, and worked together towards shared goals. It is the bigger picture. In the end, real progress comes from working together. Businesses, leaders, and communities united for a more sustainable future.